Okay, for the last little bit, we want to do one more thing to this page, and it's called kind of conditional formatting. And what you can do, and it's pretty cool, and it's a lot more related to actual computer programming. But you can set the cell to be something or to say something depending on the results of some of these other cells. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to go down here and just take, really you could do two squares or cells or four cells, but I'm going to highlight four just so it looks a little kind of bigger. And then there's this button called merge cells. So if I select that, now I've got one big cell and it's merged them. And now we're going to make this cell equal to what's called an if statement. So basically, what it's going to say is if this is true, then do this. And if it's not true, then do something else. And so, what this looks like, you have the equal sign and you type in if. And you can see there's tons of different things that this program will recognize. But we just want if, and then you start your parentheses. And now you're checking, you're creating the range that you want it to kind of record against. And so what we're going to say is if the total distance the car travels, so in my scenario here, E24, if this value is greater than the total distance to Walker, okay, sorry, not a parentheses, comma. So if this is true, what do you want to have happen? Then we can do quotations. So by starting quotations, now you're going to say text. And for this activity, I want call 911. And what that's saying is if the distance output, okay, the total distance the car travels, if that is greater than the total distance to the walker, then that means you're going to hit the walker. Okay, so we want the program to say, call 911. It's an emergency. You just hit a pedestrian. Okay, so then end quotation. So it's going to say exactly that. Then comma. Now that this third part, now what's it going to say if it's not true? Which would be a good thing. So if E24, if our total distance that the car travels is less than the distance to the walker, then that means the walker is going to be safe. So we might say something like that. That was close! Exclamation point. And then now we want to tell the cell that we're done. And so you end the parentheses. So you can see everything I've done is between the parentheses. We're saying E24, which is my total distance the car travels, is greater than C26, which is the distance to the walker. If that is greater than that, then you need to call 911. But if it's less than that, so if this is not a true statement, then you can say that was close. Okay, well, and actually we should do greater than or equal to. So we should be able to fix that. If you do greater than or equal to, now it'll say call 911 if the two values are the same. So if I go and hit enter, okay, now it's going, oh no, this is bad. You're definitely hitting them. And I'm going to make this bigger because this is kind of the whole point, right? So you can see that says call 911. But if I say distance to the walker, let's say is 100 meters away, now it's going to change to that was close. And I didn't think about this, but boom, there we go. Added a couple more cells. Now it's going to be there. Now I want to do one more thing. Well, but we're going to do it twice. And this is called conditional formatting. So if you click on this cell, okay, we see the equation that we put up here already, okay? But I want to do what's called conditional formatting. So I can right click on it, and you're going to get this menu here. And then there's a thing called conditional formatting. And so here's what you can do. you can basically set some rules. And so format the rules. So this is the most important one. If uh, the cell, so text contains, so if the cell contains this text, if it says call 911, we want it to turn red. And add another rule. If the text contains that was close, whoops, and we want it to be, let's do yellow. It's still kind of a cautionary thing. And you see that it just turned to yellow. So done. So now it's either going to be red or yellow. And I might, test this out. So let's say the distance was 50. Boom. Now it's red and it says call 911. So with conditional formatting, you can actually kind of customize the response that the cell is going to make. Now, we want to look at our alert driver, distract driver, and possibly a new scenario that I'm going to give you. Okay, so this is kind of our final test here. So we have this simulation, and I want you to highlight and copy. Okay, everything we've got here for each of these scenarios. So I did alert driver, then I just did distracted driver, and then our new situation. So it copied those numbers over. We can set these numbers back to 0. And now it's going to be ready for us when we go to enter our information. Okay, perfect. More. Probably could do this before you copy and paste it. Now we have basically this is where we were building it. We can then run scenarios about an alert driver, which is going to have different distraction times, different reaction times, and see how that scenario compares to that of a distracted driver. And then I'm going to give you a grand finale, a challenge problem that you're going to input your numbers and see what our results are. So that is the end of our simulation. If you need help on any of the parts, go back to the beginning and watch the first couple videos. And if those still don't help you, then let me know and ask questions in class.